Hello there, and welcome to the very first episode of my retrospective look on the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog series. Before we dive into the book proper, I wanted to talk a little bit about the people who made the book possible. Well, okay, other than Sega. And Archie, you get what I mean. Michael Gallagher and Scott Shaw write and draw this comic, respectively. I can't find much information on Michael Gallagher, although I have found that he's credited for also working on Guardians of the Galaxy, not the one you're thinking of, Mad Magazine, and Archie's own Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And if you've ever read Mad Magazine before, that is, Mad Magazine from the late 80s, early 90s, then you should know what we're getting into here. Scott Shaw, meanwhile, is an accomplished artist best known for his work on Marvel's Flintstones comic, DC's Zoo Crew comic, and Boingo's Simpsons comics, among others. You know, simplistic and easy on the eyes. I bring this up to give you a proper idea of probably what they were expecting the comic was going to be when they went into making it. A silly, over-the-top story with funny woodland creatures that doesn't take itself too seriously. As I stated in my introduction video, this comic was made to promote the Saturday morning Sonic cartoon. Both of them. Sonic Sat AM, as the fans prefer to call it, and Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. While using characters and settings from Sat AM, it most certainly leaned towards the silly style of Adventures. Now with all that out of the way, let's look at Archie's Sonic the Hedgehog miniseries number 0. The Sonic comic app on the App Store. I don't have a physical copy. The cover, penned by Scott Shaw himself, is really nothing to write home about. It's a white background with some Sonic elements scattered throughout. The Green Hill loop-de-loop, the coastline from the Sonic 1 tile screen, gold rings, you get the picture. The centerpiece of the cover has Sonic the Hedgehog himself being chased by Dr. Robotnik, running on a bridge straight out of a TV screen. This is it! Sonic leaps out of his Sega video game system into his very own comic book. We keep telling him not to go turbo, but when has he ever listened to us? All in all, this cover isn't grand, but it does its job well enough. It tells the reader exactly what they're going to be seeing, namely the characters from the video game being transplanted onto a comic book, and for that, I give it credit. We open to the first page, which gives us our introductory blurb on what we're about to get into. The planet Mobius used to be a beautiful and fun place to live, until the evil Dr. Robotnik took over, using his polluting robots. A brave team of freedom fighters struggled to overthrow the dictator, led by the fastest and way coolest dude on 2 feet, Sonic the Hedgehog. Alongside the blurb are handy little character portraits that show the heroes and villains of the piece. Those that may have read the comic before or seen the Sat AM show may be asking right now questions like, wait, I thought his name was Rotor, not Boomer. Or, what happened to Robotnik's eyes? They look wrong. Or even, what the hell happened to Sally's everything? Well, there is an explanation for this. See, when the comic was penned to promote the Sonic TV shows, the creators weren't lucky enough to be given all of the information out of the gate. They were given some general ideas and direction, to make sure they were writing about the right characters, but clearly a few key details were left out, resulting in Robotnik having regular eyes instead of black with red irises, or Rotor's real name being Boomer for the time being, or Sally not looking like whatever she looks like right now. In fact, later reprints of the issue, namely Sonic Super Special number 3, corrects these issues and tries to sweep the miscoloring and misnaming under the rug. That said, we'll be sticking to the original printing of the issue for this episode because later issues play with the slip-ups they made here. Except Robotnik's eyes. That one they were more than happy to let slip under the rug. I've gauged your speed and now... Hey! No fair jumping! All's fair in love and war, Doc. And this ain't love. Ah! Then again, maybe it is. I do love to drive him crazy. Okay. I promise I'm going to try to keep references to stuff that's going to happen in the future of a comic to an absolute minimum, because we're going to be working in chronological order. But keep in mind what Sonic just said here for another 200 issues or so. You'll see. After a fight with a Caterkiller, that goes about as well as you'd expect.
One small note, please don't destroy the Caterkillers in RMZ. That somehow causes weird things to happen.
Say what?
That might
yeah,
be...
look, yeah, that's exactly... I just killed a Caterkiller and fucking things disappeared.
Things unloaded.
The things unloaded.
That might be why you're fucking...
Yeah, look, it acted as if I died. I still had rings.
I wish. Nah, of course Sonic triumphs over Robotnik and calls it a day, heading back to... This is the way to the village in Knothole, where all of us Freedom Fighters hide out from Robotnik and his creepy robots. He hasn't found us yet, and I know you won't tell. So, wait, Sonic is aware of the existence of the fourth wall?
I'm out of here!
Huh. Anyway, Sonic shows us the entrance to Knothole Village, establishing it to be an underground community to hide away from Robotnik. Remember this for future issues. Also, why in the world would you design this slide to be so, well, whatever you'd call that? It seems like it'd be much simpler to have a straight shot from the log to the end. With all the sharp turns and loops, you'd expect most people to break apart themselves going down this tube. When Sonic lands in Knothole, we're introduced to the other Freedom Fighters, and Gallagher does a pretty good job at establishing their personalities from the get-go. Boomer, is the deadpan snarker of the group. Tails is the baby and the hero worshipper for Sonic, and Sally is the no-nonsense leader of the group. Aw, isn't it sweet the way he idolizes you, Sonic? Like we all do. All of the residents of Knothole. Not me, of course. Imagine that. Me idolizing you? Yeah, it's so funny that I temporarily lost my pupils. But yeah, they make it very clear from the very first issue that Sonic and Sally have a thing for each other. Aw, I bet they make a cute couple. Are they gone? Whew. Jesus, I'm not even an issue in and I've already got the comic readers angry at me. That's gotta be a record or something. Yeah, for those of you not in the know, Sally Acorn as a character is, well, divisive seems to be too live a word. How about the Archie Sonic fandom is to Sally Acorn as the regular Sonic fandom are to the Sonic games, honestly. Yeah, I think that sums up pretty nicely. There are a lot of factors that go into this, but I'll get to that in later episodes. For right now, though, she's just a no-nonsense leader of a rebel faction against the oppressive rule of Dr. Robotnik that also happens to have a crush on Sonic. Anyway, we're introduced to Antoine Duclette, and I am very sorry if I mispronounced that, shortly thereafter. A French coward and blowhard with an ego big enough to make Sonic look downright modest. Oh, and also, Antoine is freaking awesome! Sorry. Got a little carried away there, but let me explain. Antoine is one of the characters hit most with character development as the series goes on. Well, everyone in the original Freedom Fighters goes through character development, but it's probably the most noticeable with Antoine more than anyone else. I already promised I wouldn't go into too much detail until I get to the comics in chronological order, as I want to, stay in chronological order, and we'd be here all day otherwise, so I'll hold off on my gushing over Antoine's development. One day, he'll be a badass to rival the other characters in the book. But for right now, what's the announcement? Too much starch in your underwear again? Yes, as a matter of fact. No! I think you get the idea. Antoine came to warn of a leak in Knothole, which could lead to some problems. A leak has been discovered here in Knothole. We could be flooded out. Or worse, Robotnik could use trickle-down technology to locate us and destroy us. Remember how I said Gallagher wrote for late 80s, early 90s Mad Magazine? Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I meant. And it's only going to get more painful from here, folks. We cut to Dr. Robotnik's lair. Office. Wait, if Dr. Robotnik is the supreme dictator of the entire planet, why does he only have a dreary little office to himself? Why not, say, a huge mechanical castle, all to himself? Oh, speaking of office, check out his plaque. It's stupid, but it's cute kind of stupid, In any case, the point of the scene is to show us that Robotnik sees a group of non-robots wandering the edge of the Great Forest and prepares to head out to crush them. After a few hilarious hijinks with Antoine at the butt of the joke, Get used to this, people. Gallagher loves doing this. The group finds the source of the leak. The stand of weeping willow trees. What? Recently, Robotnik bulldozed several acres of forest trying to find Knothole's entrance. The willows have been crying for their fallen friends ever since. So, you're telling me that trees are sentient in this world? What, is this like setting up to be some sort of Lord of the Ring-esque battle with the Weeping Willows as the end, said Dr. Robotnik as Saruman? Actually, while I know that's not the case, that would be freaking awesome if it were. Sonic says he has a plan, but they're interrupted when Dr. Robotnik attacks. Sonic taunts Robotnik to draw his attention away from his friends. Aw, come on, Robotnik. Robotnik. What? Is this supposed to be, like, a pun or something? Is it supposed to be hood rather than nud? No, that's clearly an N. I'm thinking about this too hard. Moving on. Well now. Why do you keep saying that, Boomer? Because that's where Sonic's headed, Sally. To the well. Oh, come on, Gallagher. That was forced even by this comic standards. You can do better than that. The well is where Sonic keeps one of his magic rings, but oh no! The rings rise and fall in water! Apparently. From what I remember from the games, no, they stayed perfectly stationary. But whatever. Point is, Sonic needs the ring, and it's up to fate to decide if it rises for him or not. Robotnik's counting down to his destruction rather than just swinging at him while he has the opportunity. What will happen? Can Sonic get the ring in time? Will Robotnik win his— oh, there's the ring. Congratulations, you just held attention for a full 2 panels. So Sonic jumps through the ring, causing him to, bounce the checkered wrecking ball back at Robotnik? I am pretty sure that the rings couldn't do that in the game. In fact, I think this is a more accurate representation of what would have happened if Sonic tried that stunt. But whatever. Rings just work differently in this universe, I guess. Robotnik flees from Sonic as the layer screams, "I'll get you yet!" like the villain of the story. And our story ends with Sonic's plans revealed and in action. Planting saplings to replace the trees Robotnik cut down. That's a very nice thought, guys, but Robotnik is kind of in control of the whole world and has clearly made it his mission to crush any and all resistance. What's stopping him from ripping up the saplings you guys are planting as an act of petty revenge, or, just cutting down more willows? For that matter, where did you guys get those saplings from in the first place? I'm pretty sure they don't have, like, a floral department you can just buy saplings from, considering, Dr. Robotnik again rules the whole world. Well, whatever. Happy ending. And, it looks like Boomer accidentally buried Antoine because he thought Sonic said plant a sap. Being buried up to your neck and unable to move in a hostile environment is hilarious, isn't it? But we're not done yet, guys. We have 3 one-page gag comics and a backup story for this issue. The gag pages are really nothing to write home about, but 6. Warp Sonic. Light speed. 1/3 faster than your regular bulb. Sonic can run at light speed? Yeah, I call bullcrap. Ignoring practically all the laws of physics being broken, seeing as an object of any mass matching or exceeding the speed of light is impossible, as the amount of energy required to accelerate any mass to the speed of light would be literally infinite. This makes for a very poor storytelling engine. I can buy Sonic breaking the sound barrier, or even maybe hitting Mach 10 if he pushes himself beyond his breaking point, but if Sonic can casually shift into the speed of light, you remove all tension or threat anything could possibly bring. It's lazy, is all I'm saying. If you have a superpower like speed, either limit the speed or write around the ability. Being able to reach the speed of light as casually as this page assumes Sonic can removes any threat that anything Robotnik could throw at Sonic may hold. Okay, rant over. Our final gag page before the backup story shows an assembly line of Robotnik's badniks. and a swap bot in the corner. The main thing that catches my eye is this one bot in particular, Splats. Apparently, this was a badnik that was originally in 1991 Sonic the Hedgehog for the Genesis, but it was cut from the game for unknown reasons. I just find it interesting that even a full year after Sonic the Hedgehog was out and it was clear Splats wasn't in the game itself, Gallagher and Shaw still took the time and effort to use a badnik based on the promotional material. In the end, it'll be rather pointless, and Splats is about as important as any of the other badniks in the comics, but still, cool on them for going the extra mile. Our backup issue begins with Sonic taking us on a trip down memory lane and talking about how things were before Robotnik took over, introducing us to Uncle Chuck and Mutsky. Uncle Chuck runs a successful chili dog stand, explaining why it's Sonic's trademark favorite food. Sonic is Uncle Chuck's ward and part-time delivery boy for Uncle Chuck's chili dogs, and Mutsky is a dog.
Hey, don't ask me. I think it's like the thing with Goofy and Pluto, since we'll be seeing Anthro dogs later in the comic. And considering the comic's explanation for why they are Anthro animals walking and talking later down the line, the fact that Mutsky is a regular dog doesn't really make much sense. But, whatever. We'll roll with it.
Uncle Chuck is an inventor, as the following panels go on to tell us. He's even the man who built Sonic's shoes to be so dang durable. They get an order for 200 chili dogs as a Buzz Bomber nails up a poster announcing Dr. Robotnik's declaration of dictatorship. What?
So, is this how you announce to the populace that you're the new evil overlord? Put out flyers declaring your rulership like you would put out flyers for a lost puppy? I guess my younger brother's been doing it wrong the whole time then.
Ooh, there's number 200. No, that's not. That's 50 at most. Sonic hurries away at high speeds, and considering how those chili dogs are stacked, they must be flying all over the place. Unless they're glued together or something, and I should probably stop harping on this, shouldn't I? Of course, the order was a trap, and with Sonic gone, Mutsky and Uncle Chuck are captured by Dr. Robotnik. Sonic, meanwhile, shows up at the factory where he was told to deliver the chili dogs, and you owe me 300 smackers. Assuming they're going by American currency, I don't think $300 is exactly going to make you rich, like Uncle Chuck was cheering for a few pages ago. So yeah, surprise, surprise, the robot tries to crush Sonic under a checkered wrecking ball, and Sonic realizes something's up, rushing back to save Uncle Chuck. Note, Sonic is going faster than the speed of sound. The zoom noise will appear later this week. Okay, that was funny. But alas, Sonic is too late! Swap bots are tearing down the chili dog stand, and both Uncle Chuck and Mutsky are missing. Sonic wastes no time in trashing the swap bots and checks the manufacturer mark?
What purpose would Robotnik have in giving his robots built by Robotnik ink marks? If he's the world dictator and in charge of all of the resources on the planet, I don't get why he'd mark them as belonging to him. In fact, considering he's a megalomaniac, shouldn't he believe everything belongs to him anyway?
Also, considering how the remains of the swap bot is singing Daisy Daisy, I can only assume Robotnik is developing HAL 9000 AI for his robots. Why he would give sentience to combat droids, I have no idea. Maybe he enjoys having sentient creatures to terrorize and lord over? I don't know.
Gallagher has this talent of throwing me into a self-feeding loop. The more I think about and question the stuff he writes, the more I nitpick, and that leads me to keep asking more questions. If I don't stop myself, I'll keep reading this one page until I'm like 50 years old.
Sonic heads back to the factory and plots his revenge when he's stopped short by Sally. She explains that she's the princess and her father, the king, as opposed to her father, the shoemaker, has been kidnapped by Robotnik. Sonic's response? Sorry, kiddo. Tell your fairy tales to someone else. I got a job to do.
So, wait. Sonic's unaware of the royal family? Does this mean he and Uncle Chuck lived as hermits outside of the bounds of the Acorn Kingdom?
But that can't be right, considering Uncle Chuck has a chili dog stand. You'd think Sonic would have at least heard of the Acorn Kingdom if he's doing deliveries and there I go nitpicking again. Right, getting myself off. Sally leads Sonic to where Uncle Chuck is being held captive. Sally explains their plight. There! You see that group of new captives? Robotnik swap bots kidnap them. Then he turns them into robots to work in his factories. Wait, robots? None of the animals in this shot are robots. They're just hypnotized. Considering robotization is a very literal thing and is established to be quite literal later in the comic series, I'm just going to assume Sonic must be, I don't know, rather young in this flashback, and this is just his perception of what's going on. Sonic tries to bring his uncle back to his senses, but it's no use. When Robotnik tries to capture the duo, Sonic uses his super speed to whip up a blue tornado and fling everyone away. Except for Princess Sally, who's standing literally right next to the tornado in this panel. And considering Robotnik was holding on to her a moment ago as he was flung away with the rest of them, I guess Princess Sally just equipped her iron boots, or Sonic chose to allow her to ignore physics, or whatever. I'm done trying to rationalize this comic. Sonic carries Sally away, and Sally offers Sonic a place to join her and the Freedom Fighters in their hideout in the Great Forest, with 2 R's, because why not at this point? Sonic, of course, accepts, and our issue ends with Sonic breaking the 4th wall to tell us to send letters if you want to see more stories about Sonic's past.
Sonic the Hedgehog number 0 is stupid, cheesy, surreal, and... okay, I'll admit it, fun.
Sure, nothing in this comic made even the slightest bit of sense, and more questions are raised than answered, but you can tell the creators had a ball making this comic. Then again, this is Gallagher we're talking about. Having fun while writing stuff is probably a contractual obligation when writing for Mad Magazine.
Next week, we'll continue with the 2nd issue in the Sonic the Hedgehog 4-part miniseries. I'd say things start making a lot more sense then, but trust me, they don't. They really, really don't.